guys, welcome to the Chad Prather Show. If you still think the deep state is a tinfoil hat conspiracy, then you haven't been paying attention, folks. You have been programmed, and that's what we're trying to break you out of. While we're over there busy, arguing over pronouns and TikTok trends, you have unelected bureaucrats, intel spooks, and global puppeteers that are busy running our country behind a curtain thicker than Biden's memory fog. Folks, it's not about politics. It's about a war for control. And on this show today, we're going to name some names, pull some receipts, and torch the whole damn narrative. So buckle up. Hi, welcome to Monday, folks. It is the Monday-est Monday of all. There's a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend. We're trying to make some heads or tails of it, trying to get back over here to my notes because there's so many things. I want to do my best to stay on track. Hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you're looking forward to a good week. I am. We're headed over to Nashville, Tennessee this week because I've got a special one-off show at Zany's Comedy Club, the world-famous Zany's Comedy Club, Nashville, Tennessee. They haven't had me there since 2017. You know why? Because they're woke. They don't want to have me this time, but I think we're going to sell that sucker out. So if you're anywhere near the Nashville area, get your tickets. Go to watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. And come over to Zany's. You know where it's at. If you're anywhere there, you know Zany's. It's famous. But I want to have a full room. I want to prove to them that they should bring in some conservative voices. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me they don't like. I don't know. There's some places around the country. I mean, who wouldn't like me? Everybody likes me. That's actually not true. I want to read to you guys. Should I read you an email that I received yesterday? I will. I will read that email in a little while. I'll read it to you as we get into the show because I just want to kind of give you a little glimpse into some of the things I deal with from day to day. It's not going to surprise you. But the issue is the lack of critical thinking that's out there. And that's what bothers me. And I promised you guys on Dear America this morning, if you were watching that we were going to do, I was going to teach you a little bit. I'll tell you my opinion at least on thinking. But I would like to give you a couple of just some bullet points here in a little bit about critical thinking because we've lost it. We've lost it, and we just don't have common sense, much less critical thinking skills. And I want to talk to you about what critical think. You've heard me say it for years, but what are critical thinking skills? I'll give them to you here in a little bit. So grab your pencil and a piece of paper. You're going to want to write those down. And they want us to forget about Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, every time the topic comes up, the media's changing the subject, the elites are getting quiet, and the internet's mysteriously scrubbing names. And I say that, you say, we're still talking about it. Listen, I'm going to get into this here in a little bit because Epstein's not about one man. It's about a system. And I'm going to break that down for you in a little while. And the issues that are out there, it's a whole system, folks. And we are the ones who are allowing it to go on right under our nose. That's why we still talk about Epstein. I'll break that down for you in a little bit because who knows, Ghislaine Maxwell might be testifying before Congress. She's offered to do it. Should she do it? I'd love to hear your opinion on that. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So get into the chat, float those American flags, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget, subscribe if you have not done that yet, if you're on YouTube or Rumble. And let me say another thing. When you're on my social media, like on X or on Facebook or whatever, and you see a thumbnail that has, like the boy who saw Jesus, who saw Jesus and his father, you've seen that viral clip now over the weekend. We put out a video on that. A lot of people say, yeah, within 10 seconds of us posting it, you guys say, yeah, I saw that clip the other day on whatever. No. Click on it because I'm going to give you, it also includes about 10 minutes of my commentary on it. We're not just showing you just the clip that you've seen. So I want to make sure that you guys know that these are like little mini episodes of the Chad Prather Show. And if you're a fan, you're a subscriber, and you like what you get on the big show, watch those little mini shows as well and share them if you can. A little bit of confusion on that, but I want to make sure that you guys understand that I am adding commentary on those, not just showing you the viral clips. Let's talk about our friends over at Birch Gold. I want you to text CHAD, I spell it Chad, to 989898. They are the folks that I trust for my future and my retirement to be backed by physical gold. They're down there in Rio for the Rio Reset, which is the BRICS nations coming together, further devaluing the dollar, which means gold is going to go higher and higher as the dollar comes down. Make sure that you're not tossing and turning, wondering about your financial future with some 401k that's tied to the stock market that is volatile. Make sure that you've got an IRA that's tax sheltered and backed by physical gold. That gold is not going to go anywhere, folks. It is physical gold backing up your retirement. You might have a savings account that's not doing anything. Roll it into gold, folks. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with gold. I bought more gold over the weekend. And they'll tell you with a free, no obligation information kit when you text Chad to 989898. And you can trust them. Tens of thousands of people have. I do. And they got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. And so you can trust them. You can trust these folks over at Birch Gold. So do that for me, please. It reminds them that we care about them here on this show. And we do care because they're great sponsors of the show. And they make it where we can do this thing. All right. And by the way, it's text Chad to 989898. Don't forget to do it. All right, let me ask you something. Let's talk about this. What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? I don't mean in some like vague philosophical sense. I mean like right now on something that really matters, something you're passionate about, something that you're probably convinced you're right about. You know anybody like that? You ever get like that? What if you're not right? Now, I know when I ask that question, it doesn't sit well with most people. The first instinct is to push back. No, not me. I've done the research. I know what I know. But here's the problem with that. If you never ask how you might be wrong, then you're not actually critically thinking. You're just rehearsing your beliefs like a script. So if you can't grow, and the bottom line, you can't grow if you can't challenge that script. So the question, you've heard me say it many, many times on this show, the number one rule here on the Chad Prather Show of critical thinking is, how am I wrong? Where am I wrong on this topic? That's not weakness. That's actually strength if you can ask that question. Because the root of all critical thinking, in my opinion, is where am I wrong? And I don't care who you are, how smart you think you might be. If you're not willing to ask that question, you're not thinking. You're defending. You're in a mental bunker and you're not in a conversation and you're not thinking critically. And I get it. We live in a culture that's addicted to certainty. Everybody on the internet is completely certain that their opinion is right. People would rather be loud than accurate. And we're so eager to win arguments that we've forgotten how to ask good questions. Read the Bible. Read the red letters. Jesus was always asking questions. But if you really, that's the way he taught people, with questions. If you really want to think well, if you really want to rise above the noise and become a voice that matters, you got to start with humility, okay? So let's talk about how to think. I mean, really think, because the first principle is this. You got to begin with that humble inquiry. That means before you speak, before you post something, before you defend something, before you fight, I want you to take a pause and ask, what if I'm wrong? What don't I see? What am I missing? Don't just collect ammunition to defend your belief. And just try to, what I want you to rather do, I want you to poke holes in it. Try to destroy your own argument before somebody else does. That's what truth can handle. Truth will always welcome scrutiny. Lies run from it. And listen, the next thing I'm going to say is going to sting a little bit, because you got to do this, though. You've got to learn how to separate your emotions from your logic. Just because something makes you feel strongly doesn't make it true. Your outrage isn't a compass. It's a signal that something's going on, but it doesn't tell you whether your direction is right. So you got to take a step back from how it makes you feel and ask, what is actually happening here? Because you can't think clearly if you're drowning in emotion, because emotions are real, but they're not always reliable. They're the check engine light, right? Not the engine itself. And to go a little bit deeper, most of our beliefs aren't built on facts. They're built on assumptions, on stuff we think we know, but never actually examined. And if you want to grow as a thinker, you got to break that stuff down. Ask yourself, where did I get this idea? Who taught me this? What am I assuming here that might not be true? I mean, just pick anything that you're passionate about right now and ask those questions. What am I assuming here? What about this might not be true? Because most of the time we're defending conclusions built on foundations that we've never even looked at. It's like building a house on sand and yelling at everyone who tells you to check the ground beneath you. But critical thinking is like peeling back the layers. It's uncomfortable. Thinking is hard. It is work. And sometimes it's going to make you cry, but it's going to get you closer to the truth. And here's one other thing that'll challenge your pride. Stop tearing down the dumbest version of the argument you disagree with. That's easy and it's lazy. That's called a straw man, and we want a real man, okay? It makes you feel smart without having to be smart. Instead, build the strongest version of the opposing argument. Understand it, honor it. Then, if it still doesn't hold up, then you can challenge it with integrity. And if you can't explain the opposing side's perspective in a way they would actually agree with, you haven't earned the right to tear it down. You're not debating. You're just shadowboxing your own ignorance. So this is the thing that bugs me so much with the stuff when I get online and I see people and they send me, this is something that I got yesterday afternoon, I should say. This comes into my inbox. I'm not talking about Facebook posts. I'm talking about somebody that actually went to watchchad.com and decided to send me a message. He said, I'm surprised at you. You were on X last night crying in your truck, begging Trump to reconsider his stance on releasing the Epstein files. First of all, that's not what I said at all. And he says, today you're taking up for him again. Which is it? No, it wasn't taken up for him. I just was commemorating the fact that he got shot 365 days ago. So do you think he's on the list? I do. I also think he rigged the assassination attempt in Butler, PA. I noticed he didn't mention it again after it happened. I also noticed he's still upset with Rosie O'Donnell, who just said he was a jackass with a bad haircut. And this goes on and on. You need to make up your mind which political cowboy you want to be. Either you're an easily led cowpoke who doesn't think long and hard why Trump covered up the Epstein files after dragging you and Liz Wheeler and Rogan O'Hanley and others up to the White House to pose with the alleged. See, this guy goes on. He doesn't know the truth. This person is just shadowboxing his own ignorance and doubling down on it and went to the great lengths of sending me a message in my inbox. And I thought it was fun. I thought it was a perfect example. Because this is where we all get trapped. You get a popular opinion or you're running with the crowd. Popularity isn't proof. Just because there's an idea that's trending doesn't mean it's true. Just because the crowd is clapping doesn't mean it's right. So when you're looking at something, especially in today's meme culture, you need to ask, what's the evidence? Who benefits from this idea being spread? Is this coming from a source that has anything to lose if they're wrong? If you're following applause instead of facts, you're not thinking, you're reacting, and you're probably being played. And then I'll give you one last point. And you probably need to watch this again so you just get all of these points again. But I'm going to give you one last point because this is where most people fail. You got to be willing to change your mind. Changing your mind is not a character flaw. That's called being a mature human being. We got this weird idea that changing your mind is weakness, like it's selling out or giving in. But listen, if your mind never changes, you're not learning, you're just stuck. So say this with me right now, out loud if you have to. If the evidence changed, I would change my mind. That one sentence might save your life. It might save your reputation. Hell, it might save your soul, because a mind that can be moved by truth or a mind that can't be moved by truth isn't a mind anymore. It's a monument to your pride. So what are you going to do with all this? Well, pick something you believe strongly. I don't care if it's politics, religion, parenting, nutrition, whatever. Now go find the smartest, most respectful, most well-reasoned person who disagrees with you and go into the fight. Go in and listen. Don't go in to fight. Go in to listen. Go in to understand. Ask yourself, what would have to be true for this person to be right? You don't have to agree with them. You just have to understand them. And if you do that enough times, you're going to build your own habits, and you'll become something rare in this day and age, folks. You'll become dangerous in the best way because you won't be easily manipulated. You won't fall for every flashy headline. You won't be a puppet on the strings of the tribal outrage. You will be anchored in truth and strong enough to adjust course when needed. So don't ask yourself, how can I prove I'm right? No, what if I'm wrong? Because that one question might lead you to the truth, and truth is always worth the journey. Now go think. Think hard, think humbly, and don't ever stop asking questions. All right, our friends over at Allied Oilfield, AlliedOilfield.com, industry leaders. They've been doing it for over 2 decades out in Levelland, Texas. They're over in West Texas making sure that we can drill, baby, drill. So go over there and check them out. They got some really cool equipment. And if you're in the trucking industry or the oil and gas industry, if you're an engineer, you need equipment built, they can take your design concepts and they can build it out to fruition and manifestation, man. Put that thing out there so you can work with it. They've got some really cool stuff over there. And they got some big equipment, and they want you to know their name. So if you're out there talking with somebody in the industry and you're like, oh, yeah, I heard about this thing on the Chad Prather Show called the Allied Oilfield. Yeah, they're really good, man. They build this really big equipment. I can't afford it. It won't fit in my driveway, but maybe it'll help you. Go to AlliedOilfield.com and check them out. Hey, my state representative is calling me on the phone. We'll have to call you back, sir. Let's bring him on. I want to get his take on some of these stories that are coming out. Party Foul Steve's in the house. What's up, PFS? What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
Where's the ding-dong?
There was no ding-dong.
There was no ding-dong.
I don't know. Producer's asleep or something.
Look at this thing
He's
going
in another
on,
time
man.
zone or something.
I'm David Medina, man. There it is.
Hey, there it is. The dogs go wild.
I truly do hate that sound, but whatever. It's a part of the show now.
You've got my mind. You got my mind running this morning on a Monday. Critical thinking and all, because it's impossible to critically think when your emotions lead the way. And I think that's what happens is you got to have that. You got to get the emotions under control, take that step back and identify that problem. And I go straight to what are the consequences of my decision going to make? I kind of skip a few steps a lot of times. I go straight to the end. I go, wait a minute, if I do, make this decision, how's it going to affect it down the road? And I usually, sometimes it's not the best way to critically think about it.
Well, you and I have been through a lot of road together, a lot of miles. We've seen each other both up and down, and we've had to talk ourselves off the ledge, talk each other off the ledge from time to time. And, like you were going through something a couple of months ago, and I was like, hey, dude, it's going to be fine. Think critically about this. Like, that the end result is going to be perfectly fine. You were like, but I feel bad about it right now, right?
Yeah, right at that moment, I was in a bad spot, just mentally just in a bad spot.
I've been there for the last couple of months, and you've you know what? People get sick of me talking about it, but you guys have helped pull me out of some holes here recently.
Yeah. That's what that's our circle of people. That's what they're there for. They're man, if we all get down at the same time, we're in trouble.
We're screwed. We're screwed. Well, let's apply some critical thinking to this tweet right here. This is an X post at War Clandestine, who says, you know how I know that Trump is not one of them? Talking about the deep state. Because ever since Trump came down that escalator, we've been 99% negative MSM coverage. They tried to remove him from the office. They raided his home, indicted him, arrested him, tried to throw him in jail, and then they shot him 365 days ago yesterday. If he was one of them, they would not have unleashed every weapon in their arsenal trying to stop him. They would have exposed themselves to stop someone. They would not have exposed themselves to stop someone who was not a threat. This is the exact reason the establishment feared Trump, because he poses an existential threat to their power. The deep state have been waging war against Trump, specifically because he's not one of, quote, them. So for those claiming that our trust in Trump is blind, you're mistaken. We've seen it with our own eyes over the last 10 years. Not only is he not one of them, they fear him more than anyone else. It must be for a reason. See, that's good critical thinking, in my opinion. And then you ask yourself, how are we wrong on this? This was, of course, Trump getting shot in the ear. And God bless the Comparatori family, Corey Comparatori. I'm always scared that I'm saying his name wrong, and I probably am, and I hate that. Lost his life that day, and others were injured. And then there are people who still say this was fake. Like this was a sham. He faked it. Like the guy said in the in the email. I mean, I've seen Trump be Trump. He's not that good of an actor. I mean, to pull that off right there and cut his own ear and make it look like he'd been shot. And then what are you going to do? You're going to shoot other people in the crowd because it was a big setup to say that was all one big, publicity stunt to win the election? And let's be clear, that did overwhelmingly win the election for him.
Yeah, it did. And that was, it exposed the failure of the Secret Service.
Well, it really did.
I mean,
and they got no accountability whatsoever.
A lack of concern about the safety of potential, a candidate at that time.
Yeah. And let me say, if Trump was part of the so-called deep state, I mean, what they're saying here, they're doing an awful job of protecting one of their own if he is. I mean, you got to use your brain. This man's been, as you said, raided, impeached twice, indicted more times than a mafia boss, and relentlessly smeared across every media outlet from CNN to MSNBC like he's public enemy number one. So if he were part of the deep state, you got to ask yourself, where's the initiation ceremony? Because usually the deep state protects their assets. They don't throw them under the bus and set the bus on fire and then drive it off a cliff just to make sure the job's done. Trump is a wrecking ball. The deep state's not a conspiracy theory either, folks. It's a network of entrenched bureaucrats, globalist elites, intelligence puppeteers, legacy media gatekeepers. And those people think they run the world regardless of who the people are that get elected. I mean, they live on the backdoor deals and the unaccountable agencies and the FISA courts and the weaponized alphabet organizations. They hate the spotlight. And Trump's the spotlight. And that's why they hate him. He's exposed all of it.
He's so much in the spotlight. I mean, he's on the news every day. You don't even need news sources. It comes right out of his mouth.
Yeah.
almost daily.
And you know, when they just fired all of those bureaucrats, do you know how hard it is to fire a bureaucrat? I mean, it's absolutely impossible. First of all, because you got not only layers of red tape, but you got civil service protection. So you have bureaucrats that are part of the civil service system, which is designed to protect them from political retaliation or arbitrary firing. So when you start seeing like 1,300 that are leaving the State Department, and you're like, well, that's not very many of them. No, that is a lot of them when you figure the fact that their protections include due process rights, formal reviews, and appeals. You can't just fire them like a private employee. They're like a cancer, man. Once they get in there, you can't get them out.
Yeah, and that's probably only about a third of what needs to go.
Yeah, and the fact that these guys are getting that done proves to me that they ain't deep state.
No, because the deep state wants 5 people doing one man's job.
They want it. They want it that way because they're quiet manipulators. That's why they love lifetime politicians whose staff does the work. You got people like Joe Biden who plays ball, and he follows the orders and forgets what state he's in, but he's useful, he's malleable, and he's invisible. I mean, those guys, that's the way they like it. Trump's a bull in the globalist China shop. He didn't climb up through the Ivy League good old boys network. He didn't kiss the rings in D.C. and get his marching orders from Davos. He's loud. He's uninvited. They didn't want him there. He flipped the table. And they want wars. He brings peace. You know, they said he'd crash the economy. Record job numbers. The tariffs worked. They said he's going to be a dictator. He's giving you more power. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, even today, you know, that he's making NATO pay for weapons that we're supplying to Ukraine.
Yeah, so
he's threatened 100% tariff against Russia within the next 50 days.
Right.
So this is, I mean,
he's called out Israel. So to say he's Israel's puppet, I think he's done a pretty good job of calling out Netanyahu. And you don't know what he's doing. Yeah. I mean, he's the most investigated, slandered, surveilled, indicted, and attacked president in American history. And it's precisely because he's not one of them. Let's show him over there. You got the FIFA trophy. This is just Trump being Trump right here. You know, Trump presents the soccer trophy, and then, you know, they're kind of expecting Trump to get out of the picture on this deal, and Trump doesn't do it. He just stays right in there and hangs out with them. He brings it over there to him. Play the clip.
Chelsea are the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup champions.
Trump just stays right there with them.
Come on. No, he wants to stay there.
Yeah, like he was the one kicking the ball.
You're kind of in the spotlight with them. You might as well stay up there and get some of it too.
Yeah, and they don't seem to mind it.
No.
I mean, look at Trump, dude. This is the Trump I enjoy.
He's about to jump up and down.
I mean, he's 78 years old at this point. I mean, it's just crazy.
He's not walking off in a different direction trying to shake nobody's hand.
I love it, dude. I love it. So let's bring up what you said. So this is what happened. Trump has given Russia 50 days to deal with this thing and bring some peace in Ukraine, or they're getting, this is my buddy Gunther Eagleman here, 50 days to strike a peace deal with Ukraine before he enacts secondary tariffs at 100% to cripple them economically. And that'll happen, too, because Russia can't handle, they can't support themselves. No way.
Yeah, and the one thing we do know about Trump, if he says it, he's a man of action. He's going to do it.
He'll do it. He's proven that. Play the clip.
C-SPAN.
I guess they're sitting around waiting for somebody to talk.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have a friend of mine who's become very friendly over the last number of years. We knew each other before, but Mark is the head of NATO, Mark Rutte, Secretary General of NATO. Highly respected by everybody that knows him, but in particular the European countries. They have great reliance on him, and he's done a fantastic job. And we had a tremendous meeting, I guess it's about a month ago. And I think Mark will tell you that it was really perhaps more important the date of November 5th. That was the election day. Maybe that was the most important because we've made tremendous progress together. And one of the reasons that you're here today is to hear that we are very unhappy, I am, with Russia, but we'll discuss that maybe a different day. But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means. But today we're going to talk about something else. And as you know, we've spent $350 billion approximately on this war with Russia and Ukraine, and would like to see it end. It wasn't my war. It was Biden's war. It's not my war. I'm trying to get you out of it. And we want to see it end. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%. And that's the way it is. That can be more simple. It's just the way it is. I hope we don't have to do it.
All right. So Trump, obviously is going to catch flack because of this whole day one. We'll get peace in Ukraine and all of that. But I mean, he is doing something. And there is, they are pursuing peace through strength, like with the NATO deal. Let those countries supply arms or, weapons to Ukraine, so it's not coming directly from the U.S. So it'd be interesting. I mean, I think this will, pretty soon ought to happen. Something will happen.
I would prefer, though, that he always, I'm disappointed in Putin. I wish he used firmer language with him. Because to me, that's, I'm disappointed in him. I want him to hey, you son of a...
Yeah.
And kind of be as hard on him as it does everyone else, because that's where. And I know he's dealing with leaders of other worlds and stuff like that, but not worlds, but countries. But man, you gotta keep your language the same all the way across. Yeah, talk firm to him. I'm disappointed in you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think Trump has had a relationship with Putin that I think he felt like was friendly, for whatever that's worth. You say stuff like that. People are like, oh yeah, you're admitting that they colluded together. Shut up. I mean,
I'm friendly with people I don't necessarily like.
I mean, you got a lot of people
I
out there
do business with people that I don't necessarily like.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody in business does that. I mean, and go watch the freaking Godfather, for crying out loud. You keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Yeah. I mean, that's I mean, these people, they jump off on all this stuff, then they make these accusations, and it's not. Again, that's not critical thinking to say something like that. I would like for him to have a friendly relationship with Xi Jinping. I'm not saying that they need to go out there and whatever. I don't mean you got to trade recipes, but I want him to have a friendly relationship. I was happy when he went to North Korea and met with Kim Jong Un.
Yeah,
or whatever, Kim Jong Il. What's his name? Il. One was his daddy, one was the son.
And just because
I hadn't heard from him in a long time, that's why I can't think of him.
Just because two people out on a golf course or playing golf together, they may be doing business, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's they're being friendly.
Well, I've seen all this stuff with Trump, with Chip Roy, Congressman Chip Roy down in Kerrville, Texas this week. And, during this, absolute tragedy in Texas, Chip Roy and Trump, they don't get along. I mean, I've texted Chip before and I've been like, what is it? Why is Trump always after you? And he goes, because I stand by what I believe. And, they've been at odds with each other. But down there with that, they came together and they were working together on a thing. Yeah. That's just diplomacy, man.
I think there's an aspect of Trump that likes that as well.
He loves
somebody that's bucks up to him just enough,
Yeah. He likes it. I tell you, he's a good guy.
He likes to spar.
I want to see you guys in the chat over there. Throw a couple of American flags in there. Let me make sure you guys. I mean, yes or no. I like Trump's form of diplomacy with this, and I do believe that there's a peace through strength in all of it. Hey, there's a sex offender that's going to be set free because he's a nut job. This is Colorado. Robbie Starbuck, hide your kids, hide your wives. Solomon Galligan. They're having the charges dropped after, forget the fact that he was caught on video trying to kidnap a little kid. Look at this dude. This is like, can we just stop sharing oxygen at this point? I mean, if you're that far gone, and I don't know. I don't know all about this story, but
what are they?
I mean, the crazy is there. Say that again, David. See what I said? You sent me a telegram, Daddy. Let's see what he said, what you sent me. All right. Per New York Post, prosecutors in Colorado plan to drop charges against the registered sex offender accused of trying to kidnap a child from elementary school because he was found incompetent to stand trial. 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office, which covers Arapahoe County and includes Aurora and Littleton, informed Fox 31 on Friday that it intends to dismiss charges against Solomon Galligan. 33-year-old faces one count of attempted kidnapping after he allegedly tried to take an 11-year-old boy during recess at Black Forest Hills Elementary School. April 2024, Aurora police previously reported that Galligan is a registered sex offender with his registration tied to the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office. After his arrest, Galligan underwent a mental competency evaluation that determined he was unfit to stand trial. As a result, prosecutors claim they have no choice but to drop the charges. Fantastic.
Take him out of society.
I mean, stop sharing oxygen. Why do we do what we do? I don't know. It's toxic empathy or something, but it's a forfeiture of the justice system to sit there and say, I mean, bring back the mental institutions. Bring them back. Get the hospitals, padded cells. Bring him back. If he's going to stay alive, get him out of society. Put him somewhere. The dude is. I mean, this is one of those cases, and God forbid I'm right on this, but I'm always right. This is one of those cases. In 6 months, you'll hear that he murdered somebody. You'll hear that he did something horrific, and they'll be like, oh, we had him, but we had to let him go.
Yeah.
How many freaking
bring
times?
Back the insane asylums. That's what they were for.
And these people are, the insanity is rampant. We know that. All you got to do is watch TikTok with some lefty on there. For instance, here's this Democrat complaining about Alligator Alcatraz. I did a pretty funny clip about that last week about the meltdown. Is it just me, or Democrats like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that just rolls off the tongue, seem completely out of touch with the lives of most Americans? The vast majority of Americans brush their teeth in the same bathroom where the toilet is located. In fact, the standard design of almost every U.S. prison and jail includes a sink, toilet, comma. You've been in jail. I've been in jail. The shitter is right there by the bed. Okay.
It was the second worst 8 hours of my life.
Yeah, I mean, Grapevine, Texas has a nice jail. I complimented him that morning. And he said, well, we don't want to treat you guys like animals. I mean, it was like, but you know what? When I say nice, there was a toilet in the room. There was no cushion or mattress or anything. It was just a concrete bed that you had to lay on if you're going to do that. But she's losing her freaking mind because illegal detainees got to poop where they brush your teeth. I mean, they literally did studies years ago about aerosolization, where when you flush the toilet, the contents of the bowl aerosolize, and they coat everything within a 15-foot radius of the toilet. I mean, you got a doo-doo toothbrush.
Yeah,
you've heard me talk about on stage having a doo-doo phone.
You can find fecal matter probably anywhere in your house because
everywhere.
How do you say that word? Aerosolization.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in the effervescent presence of your doo-doo. Okay. That's where you're at. This is a doo-doo phone. Every time you put it up to your face, you're putting doo-doo up against your face. And then if somebody hands you the phone to talk on it, you're putting their doo-doo because you take your phone with you in the bathroom because we're all gross and disgusting people. We used to read the shampoo bottles on the toilet. Now we got to scroll through TikTok. And you flush the toilet and you got a doo-doo phone. And then you're going to complain in Walmart if somebody's not wearing a mask during COVID. Why you got a doo-doo face from your doo-doo phone?
They're just upset because they're not staying in the 5-star hotels anymore.
Well, see, that's it right there, isn't it? So let's see what Governor Ron DeSantis had to say down in Florida. Play this clip. I like old Ron.
These are people. Did you see the background on some of those people, on some of those detainees? You see the horrific crimes some of them have done?
But they're still saying there's a lack of water, there's a lack of...
No. Oh, no. They're complaining about, they're saying some of the porta-johns aren't properly certified. I mean, give me a break. First of all, what's the plumbing going to be like in their home country? What are the bugs going to be like in their home country? Give me a break on some of this stuff. So all they're doing is, but I think it's showing, are you believing, a lot of these are actually criminal aliens who've been convicted of crimes. You're going to believe that, or are you going to believe the folks that are there professionally doing all this stuff? But the reality is they're in the country illegally.
That's right. Criminals. Hey, Steve, have you ever, let me just put this out there. I don't care who it pisses off, but this is the truth. I'm going to put this out there. Have you ever eaten in a Mexican restaurant that's being run by Mexicans? And you go to the men's room?
Yes.
Where do they put their shit paper?
Yeah, in the trash can next to the toilet. because in their home
don't even
country,
flush it.
They don't flush.
They don't have that kind of plumbing where they come from.
Yeah.
So they can't even flush their own field. So they're in the habit of wiping their butt.
And it's absolutely the best Mexican food you could ever eat.
100%. I avoid the bathroom. Like if you go to a real Mexican restaurant or Tex-Mex or whatever, and it's being run by people that are Mexican, you will lose your appetite in the men's room because they wipe their butt and they put it. And if they don't have a trash can, there's literally signs.
It might be in a corner in the floor.
There's doo-doo paper on the floor. You're like, I didn't come onto the Chad Prather Show to. No, but this shows you the stupidity of people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who are, you're not critically thinking. This where when we used to go to Honduras, we'd take big groups of people to do medical work in Honduras in the villages. You know what we did? We literally packed in army duffel bags. We send them down there. We would take a 5-gallon bucket and a toilet seat and put a little bit of water. You don't want to hear this, do you? Put a little bit of water. You get the sympathy yaks. I know you. You start gagging, won't you? Put a little bit of water in the bottom of the 5-gallon bucket and throw you a little toilet seat. We travel with a toilet seat. Put it on there. If you got to do your business, you do it in a 5-gallon bucket and then you go dump it out. And we were happy to have it.
I'm impressed with Ron DeSantis. I'm glad that he is where he is right now.
Thank God he's governor of Florida.
Because it is preparing him for what's next. And I do believe it will be that presidential run.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
It's
I think he embarrassed himself in 2024. I think
he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He needed a few more years out there doing that.
I mean, when you got guys like Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance that are just shining.
I know, but he's still gonna have to.
He'll run. He has to run. But man, I need to talk to him about them boots and them lifts and the way he wears them pants with them boots and all this kind of stuff. Like it was not a good look, bro. And
he is from Florida. He's from Florida.
He decimated Gavin Newsom in that debate.
Yeah.
The fact that anybody thought Gavin Newsom was winning that thing, you're a joke. ICE captured an illegal immigrant pretending to be a woman. That is, I mean, it could be a little,
looks like a little girl.
It looks like a little Montezuma right there. Tried to hide his identity by showing compassion and giving him a hamburger with American cheese. Oh, look at this fella. Look at this little guy right here, little Aztec. Oh my gosh, that's an ugly dude, man. He slapped a little slap. Look at him.
Straight out of Boys Town.
We gotta do a short clip on this thing, man, just for social media. Look at this little dude chewing his little hamburger.
Yeah,
David, make him choose some more, David. Make him choose some more.
Reaction video for that one.
I'm gonna be crying. Look at that. Can't even get the food in his mouth. Oh my God. That's hilarious to me, dude. Has he got teeth? We don't even know. Just gumming it. Well, look at that haircut. Just threw the bowl on top. Gave him some bangs.
I wonder how far he got by.
I mean, again, you're dealing with mental illness. I mean, this dude got... Anyway. But forget trying... I can't stop watching this dude, man. The hamburger's as big as his face. Oh, I gotta stop. All right, they have confirmed. Where was this at, David? David Medina. Follow him at David Medina PDX, our producer. He's in my ear, but he is unseen. Anyway, I got to look that up. All right, the Biden official explicitly approved. This is Eric Doherty. Approved use of the Autopen for the last-minute pardons of Dr. Fauci, the January 6th committee and committee members, and others. So Trump was right. And to say they need to be nullified, that gets into a sticky deal. Let me talk to you about Autopen here. I was doing a little research this morning on its legality. So, and should it be nullified? That's more of a policy or philosophical question. If you believe that the act of the president personally signing is symbolically or substantively necessary, you might argue for reform. But to nullify a pardon solely based on Autopen use would likely require a constitutional amendment or a significant court decision redefining executive signature requirements, both very unlikely under current jurisprudence. I would love to see what you guys have to say in the chat. Yes or no, should these be overturned? I know, again, with your emotion, you're convinced you're right. Go back to my critical thinking thing a minute ago. But you want emotionally to overturn them because we can't stand Fauci.
Unpopular opinion, I'm sure, judging by the everything. So, I'm going to say no, you can't. You don't need to overturn them, because you do, all of a sudden you're past, however long the Autopen's been used. You would start having court cases going back and opening and getting rid of some Autopen signatures.
Well, the thing about all of it is Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution gives the president complete power to grant pardons for federal offenses. There's no requirement for how the signature must be applied, only that the president authorizes the pardon. So
he could
Alex
do a
Thompson,
verbal.
It could. I mean, you just have to know what the compulsion was. So Alex Thompson says Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons, rather than ask Biden to keep signing revised versions. His staff waited and then ran the final version through the Autopen, which they saw as routine. That was the quote. Mr. Biden, you see this right here, did not individually approve each name for the categorical, we just read that, but rather than after extensive discussion of different possible criteria, he signed off on the standards he wanted to be used. Now, this is another issue, to determine which convicts would qualify for a reduction in sentence. Even after Mr. Biden made that decision, one former aide said the Bureau of Prisons kept providing additional information about specific inmates, resulting in small changes to the list. Rather than ask Mr. Biden to keep signing revised versions, his staff waited and then ran the final version through it, which became a routine procedure, is what the aide said. So basically, they had this umbrella policy, from what I'm understanding. They just had this umbrella policy that says if this person fits in these categories and checks these boxes, well, you don't have to go to the president and get final approval. Just assume that he would pardon them and just run that sucker through the Autopen.
Yeah, that's a little that's a little concerning, because I think it would be case by case. You would look at things not just because they all check a box.
Yeah.
But also, I don't expect the president to sit in the office and sign 4,000 signatures.
Well, there's one thing, and so I'm glad you said that, because the point we need to make is it's one thing to say it in regards to all these inmates, people that are in prisons that need to have reduced sentences or something like that. But when you start taking on Anthony Fauci, you look at Mike Ben's cyber here. Mike Ben's, he's got a great post. He said Fauci was pardoned by the White House COVID-19 coordinator, who made tens of millions of dollars off financial bets exploiting federal government health care policies. Ooh, boy. So if Fauci's pardon was approved, this is a good thread, actually. For those of you who want to read it, you need to get into it. End Wokeness says, if it was approved at 10:30 p.m. by White House aide Jeff Zients using the Autopen signature, January 19th meeting, which took place in the Oval Office, or in the Yellow Room, the Yellow Oval Room of the White House, said Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of Autopen for the execution of the following pardons. So he's got the timestamps here. So Mr. Biden's decision at that meeting to an assistant to Mr. Zients, copying Mr. Siskel at 10:03 p.m. The assistant forwarded it to Mr. Reed and Mr. Zients, asking for their approval, and then sent final version to Ms. Fellman, copying many meeting participants and aides at 10:28. So this is, 3 minutes later, he hit reply all, and he approved it. It wasn't Biden approving it. It was Mr. Zients. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Fauci is well, I think that's what they got to look into at this point. I think it's worth discussing.
Or if it's illegitimate, I guess would be the.
Yeah, and the legitimacy of it is what you've got to figure out. I mean, this guy has committed, in my opinion, Fauci committed crimes against humanity, not just with COVID response, but also what he did with AIDS in Africa back in the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't there some other countries that would like 100%. To get their hands on him?
And you got to look at the billions of dollars. I mean, you look at the crap Robert Kennedy went through in his confirmation hearing, the crap that Bernie Sanders and Pocahontas put him through, Elizabeth Warren, because they're the biggest recipients of big pharma. So they funded Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and Moderna and these people. They made billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Nobody's been held accountable. We now know that there are effects of that on people's heart and died suddenly and all of those things. We now see that, Fauci arguably killed millions of people.
Yeah,
and made $11 million during COVID, by the way.
I don't know a single person that regrets not taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
But I do know several people that wish they would not have, even if they don't have any problems. They're like, I wish I would have not done it. It's like, yep, I get it.
Well, and I'd love to see in the chat, I don't think anybody believes that Fauci's going to be held accountable or anything's going to be done. I just don't think so. Anyway, let's talk about, I just want to talk about this, and let me go off on it for a minute. I know that, David, it's not in the notes there, but I just want to take a second and talk about this Epstein thing. And let me just clarify something. Because now they're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell and her possibly testifying before Congress, or at least she's offered to do it. I don't think that's going to happen for a number of reasons. I'll tell you why. And I know there's people who watch the show, and I saw it on Dear America this morning. People say, well, why are you still talking about Epstein? Steve, pardon me for a second. David, give me the full screen because I want to bitch I want to do a little bitch fest here. This matters, and I don't care who rolls their eyes or what they do at this. Jeffrey Epstein's name, I hope it will forever make people uncomfortable. It should, because that name, as I said at the beginning, represents something that's not a man, it's a system. It's a sick, corrupt, powerful system that hasn't gone anywhere. I mean, just because Epstein may be dead or off the map or hiding off in Tahiti somewhere, I don't know. But the system is still here amongst us. And until we deal with that system, we're complicit in it by our silence. So to say, well, I'm tired of talking about it. Don't be. Why are you still talking about Epstein? He's gone. Yeah, maybe he is dead. And I mean, can we ask about the mysterious circumstances, federal custody, high security prison cameras that are magically going to stop working? You're going to have time lapses that are missing from the videos that are released. You got guards that just happen to fall asleep. And right before he's supposed to testify, no less, you don't need a tinfoil hat to see the pattern here. You just need the eyes of a little bit of, common sense. And the reason it matters is because Epstein wasn't the disease. He was a symptom of festering boil on the body of global elitism, and we got a glimpse of it, just a glimpse, because they're not showing us anything else, and it shows us how the powerful operate when they think nobody's watching. The private island, the guest list, the Lolita Express, the blackmail operations, the intelligence ties, the girls, God help them, the girls who were treated like disposable objects for the pleasure and control of people who think they're untouchable. And you want us to stop talking about that? Because listen, this is not about gossip. This is not about seedy gossip. It's not about sensationalism, folks. It's about catching someone famous in a scandal. And you're going, oh, well, that's not important. It is important if something can be done about it. This is about exposing evil. And that's what this is. Evil that hides behind $1 million donations, private jets, smiling faces at galas and award shows, evil that gets protected, not prosecuted, evil that uses children as currency for power. And if you think it ended with Epstein's, quote, suicide, think again. Ghislaine Maxwell got convicted for trafficking minors to whom exactly? You ever think about it? I mean, do you really think about it? How do you get convicted for trafficking underage girls and not a single buyer gets named? It's like busting a drug cartel kingpin and then forgetting to mention the cartel. It's a cover-up, folks. This is why we talk about it. Your government, this administration, the one that we've supported, is covering something up for whatever reason. And you can say, oh, they're using this as leverage. Great. Let's see what comes of it. But I'm starting to doubt that. Because, see, this isn't just about accountability. It's about making sure it doesn't happen again. Because right now, while we're distracted by whatever circus the media wants to feed us, I mean, whatever Taylor Swift's boyfriend that plays for the Chiefs is wearing today, whatever emotional outrage, there are other Epsteins out there doing the same thing. There's other operations. There's other trafficking rings. There's other crap that's still running, still profiting, still trafficking. So if you want to talk about human rights, let's start right here. You want to talk about justice and truth? Let's start right here. You want to talk about protecting the vulnerable? Look at the system that allowed this monster to operate for decades while everybody in the know turned the blind eye. Now we're not supposed to talk about it? Wall Street knew, academia knew. I mean, they named a wing in Harvard, a research wing in Harvard after Jeffrey Epstein. Celebrities knew about it. Politicians knew about it. Intelligence agencies, they know about it. They might have been in on it. We don't know. But don't tell me they didn't know. And they don't know now. Contacts were, the who's who of global power. You don't end up on that plane 20 times without knowing what the hell's going on. And now you got the public, you and me. We've been kept in the dark, lied to, mocked, gaslit, humiliated, insulted, embarrassed until the evidence was so overwhelming that they couldn't deny it anymore. And even then they acted like it was some isolated incident we're supposed to just quit, ignore. Oh, we're still talking about that guy, Jeffrey Epstein, he just won't die. It's not some, neat little bow tie on the top of the box to say it's just over. Because the network is still intact. The system is still in place. And let me tell you this, they're still recruiting right now. It's grooming right now. It's exploiting right now. It's having sex with underage children right now. It's using private chats, encrypted servers, the dark web transfers, shell companies, private flights. Right now, somewhere, a child is being sold because of a politician, a banker, or a billionaire thinks he's above the law. And we're supposed to just scroll on past that and quit talking about it. No, not me. I'm not. Not this time. Not on this show. Because this is not left or right. This isn't Democrat or Republican. This is good versus evil. And if you're more worried about protecting your favorite politician's name than you are about protecting children, then you've already lost your soul. In the media, they can drop the story when it stops trending. They bury the lead. They call it conspiracy. But remember this, everything they once called conspiracy in the Epstein case turned out to be true. And you can bet your last freaking dollar that there's more truth to come. But only if we keep pushing and keep digging and keep prodding and keep asking the questions that they don't want us to ask. This is where we're living, folks. So why do I keep talking about Epstein? Because the story isn't over. Because the victims deserve justice. Because silence is the oxygen that allows these monsters to breathe and exist. And because I refuse to live in a world where the rich can traffic children and the rest of us are too numb, too distracted, or too freaking cowardly to say something. And this is where the line gets drawn. This is where you and I decide that we will not forget, we will not shut up just because the cameras have moved on, because it's not a headline, it's a call to action. You got to stay loud about this. You got to stay curious. You got to stay relentless, because the truth, the full, ugly, fat, needed truth is still out there. And it's waiting for somebody brave enough to bring it to the light. And they don't want us to. So we're going to keep talking about it. And let me say this about Maxwell. If she should be, here's the deal. There's the potential to expose corruption. There is that. We would love it for her to just come out and tell the truth. But here's the thing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has argued that, there's like a 2,000 name list in the little black book. And, if you're going to talk about this, there are survivors that deserve clarity about who was involved, not isolated, in this conviction of Maxwell. But there's no, the DOJ, they got themselves painted in a corner now because they're saying that there's no evidence Epstein even kept a client list or blackmailed powerful figures. You can't tell us that and expect us to, you can't shove something up my ass and tell me I'm not being screwed. Here's the deal. If she testifies, there could be retaliation. There are going to be more people echoing conspiracy. They're going to go, you're going to have the Maxwell didn't hang herself next week memes that are going to be all over everything. And by the way, she's always and currently appealing her conviction. And so opening, her for congressional testimony could conflict with the legal strategy or fairness in the appeal, whatever that's worth. So again, maybe she's just doing this in order to, maybe she's just doing this to get revenge, And anyway, I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about this. You can find another show if you need to, but I'm at least a little bit on these shows. Until we get to it, I'm going to keep talking about it some. Yeah. A damn good show. Party foul Steve.
Yeah, and I'm all for her testifying, but she has to bring receipts. You can't just get up there and testify, because then it could be, done from the angle of, I'm just going to get back at these people. It's going to cause a big, storm. Yeah. No, bring the receipts. You know where they are. You have them somewhere. You didn't go to jail without putting those. That's right. Whatever you have it. Yeah. Make sure you bring them. And if you're willing to die for it, because we know exactly that's what would happen, on the way to the Congress.
No way. I could be wrong. But I never am. There's no way they let her testify to Congress. No way.
No, there's not, because it would expose too many of them.
No way they let her.
And like I say, it goes, I don't care who they expose. Yeah. Expose them all. If that means Trump gets caught up in it, if there's receipts there that say it, yes. Then
I literally
just because he was a friend, a one-time friend with a, and I saw somebody on your social media the other day. Oh, you support somebody that's a friend that's a convicted sex offender, and I looked at that person's friend list, and he had 50 friends, and all 50 of those friends were former friends of a convicted sex offender. So he's friends with, it's like friends with all them. Yeah.
I was having a conversation with one of our friends yesterday, and here's what he said to me. He said, what if Trump is creating all this nonsense and fake outrage between disagreements between Bondi, Patel, Bongino, and making it look like he's hiding the Epstein list just so Democrats will think his name is in the list and demand the release of the list, only to find out almost 99% of our senators, both Republican and Democrats, are on the list, and he finally drains the swamp. And I said, no, I don't think that's what's up. But I could be surprised by anything at this point. He said, do you agree that the list is full of politicians, actors, athletes, foreign dignitaries, et cetera? And if the list is released, it will crush the establishment in D.C. and threaten our government and, CIA, FBI as we know it. And I said, I told him, I don't think there's a list. Not the way we think of it.
No, not
the way we think of it. And he said, there's flight logs. I was like, well, you can't separate who was an associate friend and who was a client. Because right now, the bloodlust is so strong that if anybody's name is attached to anything connected to Jeffrey Epstein, people are going to automatically assume they were trafficking children. And so you do have to be careful in regards to that, because then you're going to get innocent people who just happen to know a rich guy, an influential rich guy. But I mean, again, I've done the deep dives on Epstein. This dude, he was an 8th grade substitute math teacher. He was not a smart guy. He was definitely not a financier. He blackmailed people to give him their money so that he could call himself a financier. He wasn't a smart dude. But I said this, I said, Epstein tried to collect blackmail on people. Doesn't mean everyone went along with it. So they may be on a flight log and still innocent. I said the court of public opinion will call anyone guilty that ever even talked to the guy, and that's a reason to be careful. I said, go ahead.
I want to know somebody that he tried to blackmail, but they didn't go for it.
Well, my thing is this. Let's say, Joe politician is being blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein. He says, well, if you don't play ball, according to the way I want you to do it, we're going to release this tape. Now, think about that. That would be a mutually assured destruction, because if Jeffrey Epstein releases a video of somebody on his island in one of his homes, Zorro Ranch, or, on the island out there, then he's basically admitting his own guilt too. You understand what I'm saying? So if he had a video of you or me and says, we're going to release it, we're going to expose to everybody that, well, no, it exposes that Epstein was the enabler of it all. So he's basically committing to his own guilt. So see, that's why you got to think through these things. It's a weird, tricky deal, man.
It's quite possible he was blackmailing people with nothing stuff against them.
Had nothing. When you have the possession of that kind of information, or willing to say that about somebody, you can literally control nations. And, Trump is using that information right now as leverage. I don't know. There's a lot of someones out there. If they came out and said, we got information, but we're processing it for national security purposes, then I'd be more okay with that coming from the White House. I mean, if they were honest about that, instead of saying, let's just let him go, let's let him, just forget about it. Why are we still talking about this guy?
Yeah, I still, all of this, Pam Bondi has to take responsibility on the way that all of this was presented. She let her alligator mouth overrun her hummingbird ass.
Definitely got over her skis, way over. Elmo got hacked. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Elmo. We went Epstein to Elmo.
Well, this hacking stuff is legit, dude. So Elmo says all the Jews should die, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump is Netanyahu's puppet because he's in the Epstein files. Jews control the world and need to be exterminated. Release the files. It gets pretty raw. Strong mouth for a 3-year-old there, Elmo.
It's AI Elmo.
Yeah, well, look at this clip right here. Watch this. Check it out.
Tell me why.
Elmo cameras on the lamb, baby. Oh my gosh, that's funny,
dude. These the AI videos are getting insane.
Let me tell you what's really scary is they're talking. We'll leave it with this. There's some warnings out there about hackers using AI and stuff like that to hack into the 911 call system. This is scary. You start spamming. Let's play this clip. Let's listen to this guy real quick. Play it.
It sounds insane, but this is a warning to America and a warning to the rest of the world. I was just put onto something very serious, and the second I heard it, my heart dropped because it made so much sense. But basically, right now on the dark web, organized crime gangs are coming out with a software called 911 spam, and the idea is simple. Basically, they're going to spam 911 lines with different calls like, hey, there's a kidnapping at CVS, hey, there's a shooting at Walmart, hey, at this address there's a home break-in, whatever. And while these calls are all coming into your local 911, they're going to be breaking into a house near you, they're going to be breaking into a jewelry store near you, whatever. 911 won't know what to respond to, and it's absolutely insane. So stay ready, stay prepared. God bless America. Make sure your family and make sure everyone is prepared for this, because this AI shit's about to get real. This is going to sound insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think that's a legitimate thing right there. I mean, that's why we always tell people, do what you can with cybersecurity and whatever. But I mean, if they start doing that, I've said forever, and there's a book out there about what would happen if an EMP went off. And this is basically creating havoc where, it takes about 72 hours for the bad guys to realize, let's say an EMP and the power grid goes down, about 72 hours for the bad guys to realize the good guys ain't coming. And they form their mobs and come after you. So basically it's the purge.
Yeah. Eventually something in some, some magnitude of, something like that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I'm not AI though. You can I don't know how you could AI this. But.
And can I just say, we're talking about AI, please, if you're out there and you're posting a picture of George Strait hugging a dude crying by a flood out place in Texas, or Jelly Roll going down and walking by the river in Kerrville, or, whatever, Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan in a boat pulling people out of the river. Stop sharing that stuff. It's AI. It's not a real picture. Please get glasses or something.
Don't be afraid to tell your grandma it's not real.
It's not real. It's not real. Stop sharing that stuff. Oh, I just knew George had that in his heart. George is doing some things. George is honestly having some benefit concerts to help that deal. But George isn't down there pulling pictures of his late daughter out of his wallet to comfort a man, at the chow hall that's been set up by, the Salvation Army. To me, it dishonors the real thing that's going on.
It does. Even I'm above sharing a couple of those. I wanted to because I have that kind of sense of humor. Yeah. But I just didn't because it just wasn't appropriate. Yeah. I did share that that somebody in Arizona died of plaque, and
is it Arizona where somebody got the plague?
It was the plague. It was
they
plague.
Got the bubonic plague. A person died of the plague, man.
I made a little joke about it.
Century are we living in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got educated on how many people die in America of the plague each year.
Yeah,
it's still here, still around.
The Black Death, man.
But it was just a joke because yesterday we were doing something and I happened to Google something about plague. Well, it popped up plaque, and I went with it. It was funny to me.
Remember, there's no conspiracies over here, folks. No conspiracies. Sit down, Ned. That's Ned Sanders. That's Bernie Sanders' cousin. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the show. Party Foul Steve, thank you. Tell them goodbye, please.
Goodbye. We'll see you in Tennessee.
Attaboy. I like how Steve went away. Now he's back. Now he's gone again. Hey, guys, Nashville, Tennessee, Zany's Comedy Club, Thursday night, one show, one night. It's going to be a big time. Kid Rock's vocal engineer just texted me and said, you're going to be at Zany's. You don't know who might be there. If you're anywhere around, pack that place out. Pack that place out Thursday night. It's going to be a good time. I do know there's going to be some reasonably famous people there coming to the show. And Party Foul, I mean, more famous than Party Foul Steve. Go over to watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. You can get tickets there and find out. I'm going to be in Lubbock, Texas the following week for a show back at the Cactus Theater. So get your tickets and come up there. Lots of stuff's happening. And we're still donating our profits from Prather Tees. 100% of the profits from prathertees.com. You can find that link in the shop from watchchad.com as well in the menu. 100%. We've raised, I don't know, several $1,000s. And it's just in the account. And we're going to give every penny of it away. So if you want to go over there and grab some shirts, we're running low on a lot of them. I'm working on, I think I am going to run that shirt I talked about, Steve, that I think would be a good fundraiser for this. And so stay tuned on that. I'm 50-50 on that because you start doing these kind of things and everybody wants to accuse you of just not, oh, you're taking the money. No, we're not. We're donating every bit of it. We've sent a lot of chainsaws, a lot of chainsaw blades. There's a lot of stuff over there. They are in desperate need of that stuff. So stay tuned on my social medias. We've been posting the links over there. More stuff has shown up than we know how to get over there. So we're doing a lot. I got irons in a lot of fires, especially with this tragedy. And I literally wept on stage at the Late Show Saturday night. I had to suck back the tears, man, talking about this tragedy on stage there in Arkansas at the Grove Comedy Club. And thanks for all those folks coming out, packed out house for 3 shows all weekend. Yeah, I'm say it.
You're one of those guys that you don't toot your own horn when it comes to stuff like that. But I'm going to say you do a lot that nobody even ever knows about. You're not on social media. Look at me, look what I'm doing. And I appreciate that about you. Love you.
You're my boo. I love you, buddy. And you do a lot too. And I will say this while we're blowing that, while we're tooting those horns, you are one of the best critical thinkers I know. You really are. In your redneck backwoods kind of way. You look at it from another angle. You always do, and I appreciate that about you. All right. Y'all can follow him on Venmo at Party Foul Steve. And I'm at Watch Chad on X and on Instagram. Go follow us over there. Don't forget, we're going to have some hot takes coming out on social media later on, and I want you to watch every single one of them. Thank you for tuning in over there on YouTube as well as Rumble. Make sure you subscribe to the channel of your choice, and you hit like before you get out of here. Leave a hard comment down where the comments are left, and I appreciate that. Go to where podcasts are offered, particularly Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating because that's what we deserve, and leave us a review. Tell us all about what you think on the Chad Prather Show, and I'll give you a little sneaky peeky. Of something that's coming. David ain't gonna like this, but September 1, we got a whole new rollout. Oh, the Chad Prather Show is gonna be brand new. Woo, little quick branding right there. It's gonna be some cool stuff coming out. Stay tuned, y'all, and don't forget to follow David at David Medina PDX. His content is chef's kiss. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning on the Dear America program. Hot Seat Todd's coming up, and we'll be back on the Chad Prather Show tomorrow afternoon at 2, 1 Central. Talk to you then. Love you. God bless you. Bye.